Well, good morning, everyone. I want to talk to you this morning about gardening. It's spring, and everyone right now is thinking about planting, say, tomatoes. And we go out to the garden and we put these tomato plants in the ground, and then we diligently weed them all summer long so that we can get the best fruit possible from our crop. And you know, our Christian walk is really like that. And in fact, in Hebrews, the writer says this in Hebrews 12. He says, "Strive for peace with everyone and for the holiness without which no one will see the Lord. See to it that no one fails to obtain the grace of God and that no root of bitterness springs up and causes trouble." And I was thinking about this root of bitterness, and I was thinking about how when I plant tomatoes, I go out regularly and I pull the little weeds that pop up, because that's the time to pull the weed, when it's small, when this tiny little weed has rooted and sprung up. You pluck it out of the ground and get rid of it so that it doesn't ruin your tomato crop. But if you let it go and you don't come back regularly and weed that, the weeds get bigger and bigger and bigger until they overwhelm the fruit that you're trying to grow. And I think our spiritual walk can be like that. We can allow a little root of bitterness to keep growing and growing and growing until eventually that's just what we walk in bitterness. And that's what the writer here is warning against. So what I would ask you today, are you during this time allowing those roots of bitterness to grow into something bigger? Or are you plucking them out regularly? Are you being intentional about finding those areas in your own heart, in your own life, where you need to pull those roots of bitterness out? So when it comes to things like social media, are you just scrolling past things that might make you bitter, or are you engaging in the conversation? Are you turning on the television and tuning into news reports and stations that just make you angry, that feed that root of bitterness in you? Or are you looking at wholesome things? Are you reading scripture? Are you praying? I would say that I'm guilty of that a lot of times. You know, I engage in the comments on Facebook, and even sometimes I just have a desire to want to share that message with others. And you know, I was thinking about a dandelion. When a dandelion grows up, the flower looks nice, but then it becomes this big puffball of seeds. And when that wind blows, those seeds go all over your neighbor's yard, and you spread that dandelion everywhere. And that's what bitterness can do for us. If we share those things, if we engage in those conversations, if we continually allow that root of bitterness to grow, it just spreads and spreads and spreads to others. And so I'd ask you today to be intentional about finding those roots of bitterness in your life, to be prudent about plucking them out early so that they don't grow into something that's unmanageable. And then I would ask you to control it, to be careful about what you share with others so that this bitterness doesn't spread among everyone else.